everybody.
Guess what?
It's another episode
of Magic the Amateuring.
That's right. It's a podcast.
It's a blogcast.
It is?
No, a vlogcast, really.
That's true.
A vodcast. That's what I mean. Do it. What's the word for it? Videocast?
No. It's not a vodcast because isn't that like on demand?
Yeah. I don't know.
Is this on demand technically?
I mean, we're normally here when you need us.
That's right. You can turn it on at any time, and that's when we'll start talking.
And little known fact about MTA is that you can press a certain number of buttons on your phone in a certain sequence, and a new episode will automatically appear. That's exactly about what you want it to be about.
That's right. We can't tell you what that sequence of buttons is, though. That is highly classified information. Mm-hmm. Classified by who? That's classified also.
The number of this episode, not classified, episode 273. Welcome. I'm one of your hosts, Marushka, aka Maria.
I'm another one of your hosts, Megashka.
You know what?
AKA Meghan.
I used to have a piano teacher back in college who he was Russian, and he had two different names for me. One name for me when I was doing well, and one name for me when I was being bad.
That sounds very Russian.
Yes, it was very Russian. I want to say one of them was Marushka.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that was good or bad.
What I like is Koshka is cat in Russian. And then Kosheshka means little cat.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
Isn't it cute? Hey, you're listening to a podcast. That's for people who are new to the game of Magic, trying to get better at the game of Magic, or just interested in being part of their Magic communities.
And this is one of our favorite episodes we get to record across the time that is a year. And that is our Judge Rob episode where we explain the new cards and mechanics from new sets. And in this case, Dominaria.
That's right. Dominaria is almost upon us. It is days from being upon
us.
Us.
And you.
That's right. It is upon everyone.
Also, we had a ruling, by the way. We were talking about this last episode. How do you say Dominaria?
Oh, that's right.
It is Dominaria. The very fanciest way to say it is correct.
As opposed to like Dominaria.
Dominaria.
That sounds like how a Midwesterner would say it, honestly.
Just going down to Dominaria, pick up some 2% milk and eggs.
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
I need to get myself some coveralls because I'm going to go in the snow.
I need some more sponges.
Do you know what?
What?
Like, one of the things that makes me feel most adult is, like, replacing
Buying
kitchen sponges. Yeah, because, you know, like, they get dirty, and I'm just like, do you know what? I am too refined a lady to use a sponge that is not great.
You know what my mother said? Your quality is based upon the cleanliness of your sponge.
That's right. Someone walks into your home, and the first thing they look at is your kitchen sink.
My mother was a British lady. But yeah, Judge Rob is here going to tell us all about any questions that you might have heading into the pre-release this coming weekend. Don't leave home without this episode because
that's right.
You don't want to find yourself with a question inside your frontal cortex that there's nothing you can do about it because you're in the middle of a play and all the judges are busy or who knows what's going to happen. Guess what? Arm yourself well with this podcast.
Hey, but before we get started, we have some people to thank. The foremost people to thank are you, the listeners of this podcast, who are supporting us on Patreon. Patreon.com/MTAcast for as little as $1 an episode.
$1.25.
$1.25 an episode. Which is $5 a month, which is our loneliest.
It's our loneliest level.
The loneliest level. Oh God, I'm sorry, everybody. I drove, everyone knows there's a blizzard. There's a big time blizzard.
We got more than 15 inches of snow here in Minneapolis. Yes, that's right. It's April. It's spring, technically.
No, it is not. And I had gone to Milwaukee to visit some friends, and I ended up getting snowed in there and staying an extra day. So I just drove back. It took me an hour and a half longer than it usually does.
Oh, yeah. I believe it.
So my brain is not great.
I just flew in from Hartford, Connecticut this morning from the Grand Prix there.
And boy, are your arms tired.
They are, because I had to wake up real early because I wanted to be on a flight to come back here and be like, I still have the whole day. Guess what? It doesn't work like that because you're too gosh darn tired.
Well, anyways, anyone who's pledging at any level on patreon.com, thank you so very, very, very much. Like we said, as little as $1.25 an episode, $5 a month. It is cents per day, and it is so easy to sign up. And it keeps us on the airwaves and broadcasting from your cat's mouth.
Yes, and you get access to our Discord server where we'll answer questions for Job Rob this episode. So you get that and an RSS feed of all our stuff. And Anyway, and also just a warm feeling that you get from knowing you support something that matters to you. So thank you so much. And we encourage other people to join. We also have a thank you going out to Card Kingdom. Go to cardkingdom.com/MTAcast. If you want to buy singles, if you want to pre-order all that sweet Dominaria stuff so you can draft with your friends, you can, get your cards in time, you can get stuff for the pre-release this weekend. You can get these now, can't you?
Yes, you can get these amazing Challenger decks, which are 60 card main decks, your full 15 card sideboard. They are standard, legal, and competitive. When the week that they were released, which was just like a couple weeks back, a bunch of people were like, hey, did anyone take these to an F&M and how did you do? And a whole bunch of people were like, I did. And it was great. There were a ton there at them. So super competitive, super sweet, and available. cardkingdom.com/MTAcast.
Hey, everybody, check out our YouTube page, youtube.com/MTAcast. We did a full entire set review, what we call our instant set review, because it's pretty quick.
Yeah.
First impressions, you can check it out there. We did it on twitch.tv/magictheamateuring first. And I got to tell you this, on April 25th, we have a very special and awesome Twitch thing that's coming up that we're going to stream.
We do?
Yeah. I'm surprising Meghan with that knowledge right now.
She is.
I'll tell you what it is in just a second.
Tell me what it is.
It's real. I can't. It's secret.
She's going to tell me, but she's not going to tell you.
But it's super cool. So go follow us so you can be sure to watch us when we stream that day. I'm really excited.
Neat.
But yeah. All right. Buckle up because it's time to learn about Dominaria. All right, everybody, it's time for your Dominaria pre-release fun time with Judge Rob. Welcome, Judge Rob.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Judge Rob, we're so happy to have you on the show.
That's right.
I'm really excited to be here.
Welcome to Ravnica.
Oh, yeah, this is for Judge Rob's first time.
Yeah, this is my first
visit to our office,
I
Ravnica.
am so excited. This office is great.
So, Rob, introduce yourself for the people who might not know who you are.
So, I'm Judge Rob McKenzie, Level 3 Judge, Regional Coordinator of the USA North Region, and I judge a lot of events. I'm going to be at Pro Tour Richmond, Pro Tour Dominaria, actually. So if you're going to be at the Pro Tour, come talk to me. It's going to be a sweet time.
All right, we need one fact from your life.
Do you want the one that I said earlier?
Yes.
Okay, sure. I have a tooth that's a different color, so you'll see it in the YouTube video. That's because in second grade, I was hit in the mouth by a magnet, and it's a half crown. So it doesn't exactly match the color
Yeah,
of
we
the rest
shoot
of my
all
teeth.
of our videos in 10K, so you can zoom in on Rob's tooth.
Rob's teeth.
I also have a chip in my bottom tooth from the same incident.
A magnet.
A chip like
magnet.
a computer chip. Your mouth is
No, like it's
computer.
I wish. No, I had 2 root canals when I was a kid. It was the worst.
Oh, no.
Oh, as a kid?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was terrible times.
I have a tooth that's chipped and I don't know when it happened. I mean it.
Do you open bottles with your teeth?
No, I don't. I just mean that one day I was like, why does this tooth look weird? And then I was like, oh my God, it's because part of it chipped off. And I was like, when did that happen? I was like, I don't know.
That's like me when I found out that my nose had been broken.
Oh.
One day I looked in a mirror and I was like, oh my God, at some point I broke my nose.
What?
Yeah.
It was crooked?
No. It was split down the middle.
What do you
It's a
mean?
hairline fracture.
Yes. And
How could you see it?
it was just the right lighting at that moment and I never noticed it before.
What do you mean? I don't understand what you're telling me.
So what had happened is I had been in theater class and we'd been doing some tumbling or something and I landed on my face. There was no blood or anything, but it hurt really bad. About 6 months later, I'm in the bathroom, in the dorm. The lighting hit my face just correctly and I saw in the mirror, oh my God, I broke my nose in that fall and I never realized it.
How could you see it though? I don't understand.
The bones! I saw the bones through the skin.
Yeah.
Not through it. Not through it. Oh my God.
Wow. I learned something new today. We're all about to learn something new.
Yes, we are. Rob, overall, what's your overall impression of how you feel about Dominaria?
I think that this set is super great. It's full of throwback cards. It's full of like references and reprints. They're reprinting Acer Glider, for the 3 people that cared about that card. If you saw the pre-release, Kelly Diggs was so excited they reprinted this card, and everybody else was like, "We've never seen this before, and we don't understand why."
What is Acer Glider?
It's a 2/1 flyer artifact for 3 mana, and it can't block.
Oh yeah, we remember that.
Oh yeah,
buddy.
that That was the first card in our set review alphabetically. All right, so what are we going to start with? Mechanics in Dominaria?
Yeah, I want to talk about the newest new thing, the weird cards with the weird frames, Sagas.
Okay.
And so Sagas are they're an enchantment subtype. They're enchantments. They can be disenchanted. You'll see them. Time of Ice is my example one that I'm using. Time of Ice costs blue and 3. It's a Saga. And it has reminder text at the top in the upper left. It has its art on the right side, and the text box is on the left, unlike every other card that you'll see. As the Saga enters in, after your draw step, add a lore counter, sacrifice after 3, which means after the third lore count, after the third effect happens. And the way Sagas work is they enter with a counter. They just start with a counter. Anytime a counter goes on, including as they come out, they will trigger the corresponding effect. They have 1, 2, and 3 in this set. Some of them have 1 and 2 being the same, which is why I picked Time of Ice, because 1 and 2 are exactly the same on Time of Ice. As it comes out, you'll tap target creature an opponent controls. It doesn't untap during its controller's untap step for as long as you control Time of Ice. And when you get to 3, return all tapped creatures to their owner's hands. So you'll get to tap something and then tap another thing and then pick up those things and maybe some other stuff depending. Note that the counter going on isn't a trigger. You can't use Nimble Obstructionist to counter that going on. You can counter the trigger that does something, but the counter going on every turn isn't a trigger. And they don't care how they get a counter. So Quarry Hauler. Quarry Hauler's a wonderful camel. He's from Amonkhet.
He's such a good camel.
Yeah. I played Quarry Hauler a lot, limited, and Quarry Hauler's hilarious now. It's a 4/3 for a green and 3. When it enters the battlefield, for each kind of counter on target permanent, put another counter on that kind on it, or remove one from it. So Quarry Hauler can advance your Sagas, or it can send you back in time and make you redo steps on Sagas.
That's cool.
Ooh.
What about our Sneck friend, Winding Constrictor? What would happen with that?
I don't think Winding
that's
Constrictor.
only-
Yeah, I think it's only creatures.
Creatures? Okay, we're double checking.
Yeah, Winding Constrictor is if one or more counters would be put on an artifact or creature you control.
Okay,
These are
never mind.
enchantments, so Sagas and Winding Constrictor don't interact in any way.
What about the text of Solemnity?
Solemnity stops Sagas from advancing, and it stops new counters from being put on.
Okay.
It just kills them all dead.
Yes.
And so Solemnity says counters can't be put on non-planeswalker permanents or players, basically.
Wow. Question. When you said the Saga enters with a counter on it.
Yep.
With Solemnity, it wouldn't.
Correct.
Okay.
It would just be there.
Solemity's just like
Nope.
no.
Yep. You're not allowed to recount history. Solemnity's like, nope, we don't learn from the past.
Okay, well, that seems like pretty
Right now
straightforward.
is much too solemn a time.
And note that, so it says sacrifice after 3 happens. That's not something you can stop with Nimble Obstructionist either. That's actually a state-based action like a creature dying. After the third ability leaves the stack, so after it either finishes resolving or fails because it doesn't have any targets, then the Saga is going to get sacrificed. And you can't stop that. Once the third thing goes in the stack, it's basically just going to happen.
Same with Disallow, for example.
Yep, Disallow can't counter it.
Okay.
I want to talk about the magic word in this set, historic. It's just a way to group 3 different words together. Historic is a catch-all word that means artifact, legendary, or saga.
Just a basket.
Yep, just these 3 unconnected things we're going to put together and give them a single word. One of the secret things about this set is this is Kamigawa 2.
I don't think Mark Rosewater would be pleased to hear that.
It fixes it's got a legendary theme like Kamigawa did. It has a lot of things that care about legendary, and it fixes a lot of the problems that Kamigawa had. Kamigawa had a bunch of creatures that said whenever you cast a spirit or arcane spell, do a thing.
Yeah.
There was no single word for all of that.
Gotcha.
Historic is a single word that takes these unrelated things and shoves them all together so that everybody can use a single word to talk about them.
Historic.
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 And I read his column on Daily MTG. He fought for historic hard. Like most people wanted to kill it who were in the upper echelons of wizards. And Mark was like, well, this set doesn't work without it. So I guess I have to put all of my screaming and power into making historic happen. And it did.
Yeah, it's essentially it's like reminder or ability words. You've heard me talk about those in the past. They're like italicized words in the front of text so that you can talk about an ability like Strive from Theros block was an ability word. You could remove the word. It did all the same things. Historic things that say historic could just spell out. Like Joy's familiar here. It's a 2/2 flyer for four generic mana. It says historic spells you cast cost 1 mana less to cast. Then it says in reminder text, and every single one of them has this reminder text. Artifacts, legendaries, and sagas are historic. So you can even tell right on the card. It's actually more words to put that in the reminder text.
Yeah.
But it lets you talk about them as a group. You can search for historic in the set, which I actually did to find Joy was familiar. It was like, instead of searching for the phrase, in quotation marks, artifacts, legendaries, and sagas, to find all these cards that are grouped together, you can just search for historic and you can find historic cards and talk about them.
Nice.
Excellent.
Yes.
The new thing that they're doing is 2 card types that have never, or a super type and a type that haven't appeared together on a card. Legendary sorceries.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, like Urza's Ruinous Blast here, white and 4, legendary sorcery. And it reminds you, you may cast legendary sorcery only if you control a legendary creature or planeswalker.
Yeah.
They just need that threshold of having something legendary to turn them on. And Urza's Ruinous Blast says exile all non-land permanents that aren't legendary.
I also need something legendary to turn me on.
I knew that was coming. I knew
Like
it was
Serac the
coming.
Hunt Caller.
yeah, that's a great example. Thank you. I couldn't help it.
Like Dragon Lord Atarka.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like Urza's Ruinous Blast. That one goes a step further.
So the legendary sorceries are big historical events that happened. In this case, it was Urza pouring out the Golgothian Silex and blowing up a big chunk of the continent. And they need that thing. They need a legendary creature or a legendary planeswalker. And removing it once the spell has been cast doesn't stop the spell. It's still going to happen. So if I cast Urza's Ruinous Blast and I have only a single legendary creature and you kill it in response,
You already cast it.
I already
It's
cast the spell.
happening, yeah.
I'm already past the point
Too
where I care
late,
about it casting.
buddy.
Yep, all your things are going to die. Noah Bradley mentioned, because I like following his stuff, he believes that Urza's Ruinous Blast is the best piece he's ever done for Magic. The best piece of art.
Really? I mean, it is great.
It is really nice.
Yeah. Look at the high resolution one at some point. It is gorgeous. And he said his only competitors are the other sagas because he did all 5 of them. Or 6. Did he do the gold one?
The legendary sorceries, you mean?
This legendary sorceries. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll have to go and look at them.
I think he did all of them. I know that he did Yawgmoth's Vile Offering and Karnes Temporal Sundering. For
Oh, I love Karnes.
We love
Yeah.
Karnes Temporal Sundering also.
Yeah.
Also great.
So, returning mechanics and variants on mechanics. Kicker. It's back.
Welcome back, Kicker.
Yep. Kicker lets you pay an extra cost for an additional effect on spells. It is the most mechanical mechanic of all time. It has no flavor to it. Fight with Fire here. Red and 2 to cast. Sorcery. Fight with Fire deals 5 damage to target creature. It's a fine spell. Play that. If the spell was kicked, it deals 10 damage divided as you choose amongst any number of targets instead. Those targets can include players
boy.
and planeswalkers. Yeah. And it costs Kicker red and 5, which means you pay an extra red and 5. So you'd be paying red 7. For the
Only
spell in order
9
to cast it.
mana.
Only 9 mana. It's a play
Tend
win.
someone to.
You could tend their face.
Yeah.
You can destroy all their permanents. Like
I'm going to get 10 in the face with this. I already
Yeah.
know it.
Yeah. Oh, we all are.
Yeah.
Yep.
Look, hear me out on the flavor of this. Haven't you ever like done something like you're just like putting so much effort into it that you just like kick out while you're doing it, where you're just
Like buying a new sponge?
Exactly. You're like you're at Target and you're looking at the different sponges and you're so enthusiastic. You're just like, yes! And you grab like a 6-pack because you understand that you're an adult who's going to change them out often.
6-pack of sponges.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
All
I
right.
mean, why wouldn't you buy a 10-pack of sponges? You could divide the sponges amongst all your friends.
That's right. Look, I just
Or you could 10 sponge
Yes.
someone in the face.
why did you do that? I just thought you needed it.
Oh, well, I guess thank you, because now I have 10 sponges.
Now I have 10 sponges.
All right.
So there's a longstanding joke that almost every mechanic in Magic is either kicker or split cards, and double-faced cards are the third mechanic. Like between those three, almost everything that you can do in Magic is
Oh, yeah.
encapsulated in some way. And there's a lot of other mechanics that look like Kicker. They have almost the exact same text as Kicker. They're paying an additional cost to get some kind of specialized extra effect.
Yeah.
Entwine is a classic one.
Yeah.
And they're technically subsets
Bestow?
of Kicker.
I'd put,
Bestow replaces the cost, though. You pay the Bestow cost instead of its normal cost.
but you're getting something extra.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
And so you could probably rebuild Bestow to be Kicker-like. That's why I say Kicker's flavorless, because it's just pay an extra cost, get an extra thing. It doesn't have a special name. Like Entwine means two things together. Like, but there's a secret thing about Kicker in this set. If the effect changes, like on Fight with Fire, it changes it from 5 to a single target to 10 divided as you choose. You have to pay extra colored mana for it. If you are just getting more, like you're putting extra counters on your Baloth or whatever, then it is just colorless mana. Or generic mana.
Ooh, nice little tip.
Yeah, it's a holdover for all tiny percentage of us that were playing during Invasion, and that's the way Kicker and Invasion worked. Is extra things cost you colored mana, more of the same cost you generic.
Yeah. Sweet.
And Kicker, note, I used Fight with Fire because Kicker changes the spell before you pick targets and stuff. So like Fight with Fire here, it changes the number and type of targets that it can target.
Yeah.
So if you see Kicker, which is the first thing in the spell's text box, I read it backwards with Fight with Fire. But if you see Kicker, read the whole spell, because it might be like Fight with Fire where it just changes entirely what the card does when you pay the Kicker cost.
All right.
Good tip. And I'm going to tease something here that I'm deciding you're going to do at the end of the episode, Rob, which is to give us a special Rob tip secret, which you told me before the episode started. And I want you to tell it to everybody when we're done with this Dominaria set review. Can you not even remember what it was?
No?
Don't worry. I'll remind you.
Wow.
Okay, that's fair. Equip legendary creature. The Blackblade Reforged has 2 different equip costs. It's a 2-cost artifact equipment. It's a legendary artifact equipment. It says equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each land you control. And then equip legendary creature 3. So it's cheaper to put on a legendary creature because normal equip cost is 7. This is the first time we've seen specialized equipments like this.
It's because non-legendary creatures have a really hard time picking it up. It's just heavy.
It's heavy and
It's like,
emotionally
oh,
heavy.
boy.
Yeah. They think about Dakon Blackblade and,
Yeah.
Yeah, I told Megan the story of it when we were doing our little instant set review. It's dark.
how he
Yeah.
got reprinted in Chronicles and lost all of his value.
Yeah, that was it.
That's the sad story of Dak and Blackblade. Exactly.
I got reprinted and then I sucked.
Pretty much. Hexproof from X, which is one of the neatest things they've done in a while. We all knew Hexproof. It's in every set.
We all know it and love it and think it's a absolutely wonderful mechanic. And nobody wants it gone from Magic forever.
In the Great Designer Search, it was one of 2 pieces of low-hanging fruit to remove from Evergreen. So,
Just kidding, everybody hates it.
no, Hexproof is a good mechanic. You need to be able to say you can't interact with stuff in certain ways. Hexproof from X, I think, is the best version of it. So Knight of Grace here, it's a 2/2 for white and 1 creature human knight, first strike, Hexproof from black, and it gets +1/+0 as long as any player controls a black permanent. Hexproof from black means this creature can't be the target of black spells or abilities your opponents control.
Wow.
So you can't murder Knight of Grace. There's a pair of them. They wanted knights to harken back to White Knight and Black Knight from Alpha, and they got rid of protection because protection is ultra dumb. Protection is like super hexproof.
Yeah.
So people who are familiar with protection, remember this can still die when it fights
Yeah,
a
exactly.
black creature that can
Right.
deal enough damage.
Right. It doesn't, and it can be blocked by black creatures. You can attack with Knight of Grace, they can block it.
Yeah.
All this does is it stops black spells and abilities from targeting Knight of Grace.
Pretty sick.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
Yeah. I think that Hexproof from something is it actually redeems Hexproof a lot. Because can you imagine what's his name? The 3/2 flying Hexproof from Rivals?
Soul of the Rapids.
Soul of the Rapids. Figured the blue player would know. But so
Look, did I put Mark of the Vampires on that? Yes, I did.
but like say that Soul of the Rapid had Hexproof from sorceries, so you could still kill it with instants.
Oh yeah.
But not sorceries. That would be perfectly legitimate to put on a card.
Yes.
It limits it a little bit, but not not all the way. There is a big rules change. Fight with Fire, I kind of glossed over this. The Planeswalker redirection rule is being killed.
Woo!
This is a change I wish they had made actually 10 years ago.
Yeah, this is a fantastic change.
Yeah.
I remember learning about this when we learned Magic, and I was just like, what?
I still get this wrong sometimes, or I'm still frustrated by it. Like when you're playing Magic Online, it's like, do you want to redirect to this person? Do you want to redirect to this person? I'm just like, yes, no. What if I do this wrong? Yes, no. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So now Planeswalkers are going to be just straight targeted by burn spells. It is the largest errata since the Grand Creature type update. And prior to that, the biggest previous errata was 6th edition. Coming out and just rewriting the entire rules of the game.
Oh man, do you remember where you were when legendary creature change happened?
Which one?
The one where you couldn't have
the legendary rule.
Like the
It's
legendary
changed
rule.
6 times.
Okay.
The last one.
The last time.
The one where you can have one and your opponent
Yes,
can have
Oh,
one.
that
yes.
one. That one. I remember we were recording our episode by candlelight. That's what I remember
Oh, wow.
when that happened.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago. Back in my
This
day.
is functionally changing the text of a ton of cards. So they're changing. So Wizard's Lightning is from the set red and 2 instant. This spell costs 2 mana less to cast if you control a wizard, and Wizard's Lightning deals 3 damage to any target. Shortens it up, takes out a bunch of words. Any target means target creature, player, or planeswalker.
Sweet.
Which is great. Cards like Lightning Bolt that could target creatures or players before now can target creatures, players, or planeswalkers. And so you get to know in advance that they're going to be bolting your Jace or your Gideon or whoever.
Sweet.
There's a lot of complicated, like, this card is getting specific errata to behave in sensible ways kind of things going on, which is why there's like 4,000 cards getting errata here.
Is that all?
NBD.
It's a substantial number. So my suggestion, if for the next like year, well, 2 years now in standard, anything that you aren't sure if it can target a planeswalker, just check the Oracle text. Because there are cards in Rivals of Ixalan that say target creature or player that now say any target. There are cards in this set which say target creature or player, which aren't any target.
Gotcha.
Because Dominaria decided to use cards with the same words as cards that are getting errated to be different from them.
Delightful.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Not confusing.
You know, we're just
Yep.
gonna have to go over potholes for a little while, and then it'll be okay.
No. That's why I want it. Like, this change has to be good, because if they would have made it 10 years ago, I would think it was one of the best changes. So therefore, in 10 years, I'm going to be like, yeah, this is great. Why was I worried about it? But for the next 2 years, it's going to be really frustrating.
Look it up.
Yeah, look it up. At the pre-release, cards will do exactly what they say. So when you look at a card from Dominaria, it does exactly what it says in here. Wizard's Lightning hits any target.
RTFC. Read the fun card.
Read the friendly card, yeah.
Friendly. It's so friendly.
It's a friendly card.
Yep. And the other thing with the Planeswalker redirection rule, generally, if a card could target a player before, it'll be able to target a Planeswalker. If a card doesn't deal targeted damage, like Mana Barbs or Earthquake, that deals a bunch of damage to multiple things at once, it probably doesn't go to Planeswalkers anymore.
Okay.
That's the general rule that'll get you through most things. There's like a multi-part rule. You don't care. Like it's
okay.
It's a rules geek, like rules theorist kind of thing where I get to argue.
Look it up.
Yes, look it up. Look on Gather. Look on Scryfall once it gets the updated text. Gather is not up to date yet. I think that the Oracle change goes through like this Thursday or something.
All right.
And yeah.
All right, so that's not the only rules change we're dealing with either.
They're removing some more words from cards. They cut a bunch of words there. They're going to cut some other words. The phrase 2-year mana pool goes away. Just outright. Lana World used to say tap, add green to your mana pool. Now it says tap, add green.
I'm going to add green to my...
But it just says add green to your.
No, just green. Just as a simple tap, add green. I don't know why it says add green. I don't know why they needed to use the word add. But
Oh, yeah, you're right. It could just be
That'll
like
be
tap
the
little
next
forest.
word that goes.
Get out of there, add.
Tap. Green.
yeah.
I mean, like, honestly, that's a good point.
Yeah, there's actually a
Wow.
proposal that I saw on Reddit to make it different than this that was gain green. And then they could put reminder text, gained mana is removed at the end of each step or phase.
Oh.
Yeah, I like that too.
Which is like, that reminder text could just go on a bunch of cards, which is neat and makes it clear what's going on. So I wanted to use Elfhame Druid as my example. It's a 0/2 for green and 1. It's an Elf Druid. Tap, add green. Tap, add green, green. Spend this mana only to cast kicked spells.
Yeah.
So Elfhame Druid just got a lot cleaner text because it would have been like 4 lines as opposed to 3.
I wonder if
love
that's
it.
the card that they were looking at when they thought about it. They're just like,
This
look at
is-
this wall of text.
This is too
Look
much.
at this wall.
They've done that. Like, there's a lot of cards that have a lot of arcane text because they want to be super clear on stuff, and they're just like, nope.
Oh man, reading some old cards is so fun when they just have a just block of text and you're just reading and you're just like,
What
wow,
does this do?
They're trying.
Oh, it exiles a creature.
Yeah, like super hard, and like using words like
Great.
hence the
Yes.
creature is not in play and has whatever. It's just so silly.
I have a quote on our regional Slack chat for judges that is pre-6th edition cards didn't have templating because templating is the method of getting the card's text to be consistent between different cards. They didn't have templating. They had tiny stories about what the cards did. That you
Tiny stories.
Yep, that you took home and meditated on to see how zen you were.
Okay, so I understand that there's changes to 2HG.
It's really minor. So 2-headed giant, this change isn't on cards. It's completely behind the scenes in the comprehensive rules. The way that you declare attackers is changing. Previously, you just attacked the team and blocked as a team. Now you pick a player to be a defending player for each creature that you're attacking with. Both players can still block freely. So they still block as a team, but you're only assigning damage to the player that you picked during declare attackers.
But isn't your life total shared anyway?
Yep, your life total is shared. What this means, so say that you have a card like that legendary Spectre.
That legendary
Orgoros, the Empty One, who's a 4/3 legendary Spectre for black, and 4 with flying. Whenever Orgoros, the Empty One, deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card at random. If the player can't, you draw a card. Previously, you attacked the team, and then as damage is happening, you chose which player would get all the Orgoros damage.
Okay.
And so they wouldn't know which player was getting hit until that point. Now you choose which player you're attacking, which determines which player the creature deals damage to.
Gotcha.
For the purposes of
Okay,
Orgoros'
so
trigger.
it's just kind
It's
of
just like a functional.
only for
Yeah.
this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it makes cards like Hix's Prison Warden, who used to be a blank card and 2-headed giant, actually do something now. It lets stuff like Deflecting Palm work sanely against attacking creatures. Like it just makes it a lot cleaner to know as the defending team exactly what the attacking players are doing.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And also it's going to make for some situations like, I'm going to attack you on the right every single time.
Yes. It makes
Why?
it makes land walk like super clear what's going on because you'll pick which player has the swamp. And then my swamp walker gets through. You're the one that's being attacked, which means neither of you can block. So
All right. Sweet.
Interesting. Okay, let's move on to some
individual cards.
individual cards.
There's a lot of stuff going on in this set, especially at Common. I mentioned Wizard's Lightning above. I want to talk about Academy Journeymage, and it's part of this group. There's a bunch of these that say cost less if you control a wizard. Academy Journeymage, it's a 3/2 for blue and 4. This spell costs 1 mana less to cast if you control a wizard. When Academy Journeymage enters the battlefield, return target creature an opponent controls to its owner's hand. Once you've cast this spell, just like with Urza's Ruinous Blast and other stuff, you've locked in the cost. Removing the wizard doesn't make Academy Journeymage like you have to pay a tax now.
Do you want to hear about my feature-length film, Removing the Wizard?
Absolutely.
Okay. Anyways, keep going.
And this will be true for anything that has them.
Yeah. Once you've paid the cost, it's locked in, and so you're set at that point.
What if it was like, no, just kidding, pay another one?
Yeah, pay this tax. Oh, you can't? It's countered. No, that's not.
That'd be
that's not how it
terrible.
works.
That'd be, get wrecked.
Ancient Animus. I would like to propose this for worst templated card in the set.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Get out the trophy.
Yeah, green and 1 instant. I'm going to read the text and then I'm going to tell you what it actually does. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control if it's legendary.
Got it.
Then it fights target creature an opponent controls.
Yep.
So my question is, can this target a non-legendary creature?
Yes.
Let me look 1 sec. Well, I'm looking. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's like when you have to think about it, right? You have to look at it and reread it. It should say put a choose target creature you control and target creature an opponent controls. If your creature is legendary, put a +1/+1 counter on your creature. Then they fight afterwards.
Yeah.
It should put both the targets at the front because you pick both targets up front when you cast the spell.
Yeah.
But it breaks them up in the text and then talks about like putting a counter on your dude and then buries the lead on. They're gonna fight regardless of anything else.
But what are they going to do?
They're gonna fight.
Wait, I'm going to get to it. We fight.
Yes. So Ancient Animus can target any creature you control. It doesn't have to be legendary.
Gotcha.
So you can have randos fight randos.
I love that.
Do you guys want to hear about my second
Random.
feature-length film coming up? It's the newest in the Mad Max franchise. It's called Randos Fight Randos.
Yes, I would.
Mad Max. Randos Fight Randos.
Isn't that just like every Mad Max movie though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Cutting straight to the chase of the title this time.
yeah. None of the movies are about Mad Max. He just shows up and observes some disaster happening.
Oh,
Yes.
there's some randos
Yeah.
fighting in their
Some
future
randos.
desert gear.
Yep. Blink of an eye.
Uh-oh, Megan.
Oh, I hate the art on this so
I-
much.
I mean, it's just a whole universe composed entirely of eyeballs.
No.
What's so scary about that?
So Blink of an Eye, it's blue and 1 instant, a kicker blue and 1, so you can pay an extra blue and 1 as you cast this. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. If the spell was kicked, draw a card. So Blink of an Eye lets you bounce a thing, and then if you kicked it, draw a card. If the thing that you're trying to bounce goes away before Blink of an Eye tries to resolve, Blink of an Eye won't let you draw a card because its only target has been removed.
Gotcha.
Sad. Sad day.
Yeah. Very sad.
There's some sacrifice in this set, so it's not impossible.
Yeah.
Drudge Sentinel. This is a throwback card. It's a 2/1 for black and 2. It's a skeleton warrior. 3 mana. Tap it. It gains indestructible until end of turn.
We
Yes, we had a question
had a
about
moment
this.
of confusion
Yeah.
about this.
Yep. It thinks it has regeneration, which is great. And
It's so cute. It thinks it can regenerate.
right. One big note with it is we are not in 1997. Tapped blockers still deal combat damage. There was a point when they didn't. For
What?
everybody who's been playing Magic for 21
Really?
years. Yep.
Okay. Weird.
If you look at the card Master of Arms, his text box is hilarious.
Master of Arms.
Yeah.
A Russell
He
Crowe
taps
film.
target creature blocking Master of Arms.
Oh, so this was to stop the...
Yeah.
Because then it wouldn't deal damage.
Right. You attack Master of Arms and they do
So
like
weird. Nowadays, like,
Great.
the ability on this is just like completely
Meaningless.
worthless.
Yep.
Meaningless. Okay. It's tapped.
Yep.
I love it.
And this is Gerard Capuchin, by the way.
Oh, Megan.
It's the
It's like
first
looking
printing.
into a mirror.
That's true. I look just like him.
This joke will become apparent in the near future.
That's right.
Got it. So yeah, Drudge Sentinel. What was your confusion on it?
Oh, I thought that tapping it was part of the cost,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's part of the resolution.
Yeah, it's part of the effect. So you can activate Drudge Sentinel's ability even if it's tapped because it's 3: tap Drudge Sentinel.
Exactly. That was the
Yeah.
part that confused me.
So yeah,
Yep.
if it's tapped, just play 3. Same thing happens.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you can give this indestructible multiple times because they can they attack, you block with Drudge Sentinel, you pay 3 mana, they go haha, in response kill your thing, and you're like
Make it
3 more
indestructible
mana.
again.
Yeah, it's double indestructible.
Reminds me of my old standby, a Danto Vanguard. Keep
Yep.
paying that for life, baby.
Yep. It will get killed by Fungal Infection, which is the next card I want to
Yuck.
talk about, though.
Oh. Gross.
Is this on your
Yeah,
list?
it's also up there. I mean, it's no blink of an eye, but
Yep. So Fungal Infection. It's an instant for single black. Target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn, and create a 1/1 green Saproling creature token.
nice.
Same thing as Blink of an Eye?
Yep, same thing as Blink of an Eye. You don't get a Saproling if the thing goes away. So, like, if you try to kill their creature and they sacrifice it or they Blink of an Eye their own permanent, you won't get a Saproling here.
All right.
Ghitu Journeymage. Ghitu Journeymage is a 3/2 for red and 2. That's a wizard, human wizard. When Ghitu Journeymage enters the battlefield, if you control another wizard, Ghitu Journeymage deals 2 damage to each opponent. This can't redirect to Planeswalkers. Welcome to the
Okay.
future. You can't kill their Jace with Ghitu Journeymage.
It specifically says opponent.
Yep.
So there you go.
Yep. And you can respond to the spell by killing the creature, or the trigger can go on the stack, and you can respond to the trigger from Ghitu Journeymage by killing their other wizard, and then Ghitu Journeymage won't deal 2 damage.
Okay. Well, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, you have some spaces in there to respond and do it. Grow from the Ashes. It's a sorcery, graded 2. Kicker 2, so you can pay an extra 2 mana as you cast it. Search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. If the spell was kicked, instead search for 2 lands, 2 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield and shuffle your library. They don't come into play tapped.
Nice.
Yeah.
So-
This is good.
Yeah. If they, unlike most other search effects, like 3 mana effects get interesting riders like untapped, which is nice.
I put untapped in my rider when I.
For your Pro Tour
Yeah, when you
contract.
go-
Yeah. Untapped, please.
You just have the word untapped as like section 7 or something. They're like, yeah, I know what that means.
Yeah.
Yes.
Untapped.
Yes.
I want all of the taps in here untapped. All the taps must be running. I'm like the wet
that's-
bandits.
That's terrible. Just gonna go ahead and say that's a big waste of water.
The taps. That's what British people call
Faucets.
faucets.
I mean, I call faucets taps too.
Do you really?
Sometimes.
Like, oh, the tap is running.
Yeah.
It's tap water.
Yeah. Tap water, I call that.
Faucet water.
Sink water.
So,
Can I get you a glass of sink water?
No, you may not.
I only drink shower water.
Like, seriously, it sounds like you're
Fair enough.
scooping dirty dishwater into a glass for me.
Like I just plugged my sink and filled it and then
Scooped it.
That's so
Sink
gross.
water.
That's so gross. Okay, moving on.
But that's where it is coming from.
Exactly.
Yep.
All right.
So, Rampaging Cyclops. Rampaging Cyclops is a 4/4 for red and 3. It's a Cyclops. It gets -2/-0 as long as 2 or more creatures are blocking it.
Wow.
So, it's not a triggered ability. This is a static ability that just makes it smaller as long as it has 2 blockers in front of it. You can attack, let them double block, kill one of the blockers, and then
Sick.
run over their dude with your Rampaging Cyclops.
Awesome.
I love it.
Nice.
Block at your own risk.
Exactly. If you think that they have instant speed burn spells, which there are a couple of in this set, Rampaging Cyclops is better than you think.
Nice.
It's something that isn't an instant, though. Warlords Fury. A single red, sorcery. Creatures you control gain first strike until end of turn. Draw a card. I predict that I will forget that this is a sorcery at some point because it looks like a card that wants to be an
Yeah,
instant.
it certainly does.
And somebody is going to play this against you at the pre-release. You're going to attack. They're going to block. They're going to be like, Warlords Fury. Don't let them. You'd be like, sorcery. They'll go, oh, that's true. I guess all my creatures die.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good
Yep.
note. It does look like an
So
instant.
it's not a combat trick. It just makes your creatures hard to block.
Yeah. And draws you a card.
Yeah. So it kind of counts as having 1 less card in your deck.
I've noticed that in this set, there's 1 mana combat I shouldn't say combat tricks, but whatever sorceries like this that are 1 for each color. I think.
That say draw a card.
No. That just have an effect that's just a single mana.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of there's a reasonable amount of 1 mana spells. There's a lot of cheap interaction. There's like a green pump spell too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which is like
So just keep your eye out for
Yeah.
it, everybody.
yeah, there's 1 mana spells running around in every color. Damping Sphere. This is the one that people have a lot of weird questions about because it has a bunch of new text. It's a 2-cost artifact. If a land is tapped for 2 or more mana, it produces colorless, the wingding colorless symbol, instead of any other type and amount. And then it also says each spell a player casts costs 1 generic mana more to cast for each other spell that player has cast this turn. So this card does weird things. The land has to be making the mana. So if you look at like Azor's Gateway, the other half of Azor's random loot artifact, that taps for mana equal to your life total, right?
Yes.
Damping Sphere gets that mana. Gets
All
rid of it. If you look at something that triggers from the land making mana, so Wild Growth is the one that you fall back on. Heartbeat of Spring, whenever a land is tapped for mana, add an extra mana. Heartbeat of Spring isn't the land making the mana. It's a triggered ability that says when a land makes a mana, make another mana.
Gotcha.
So that won't be impacted by Damping Sphere. If the land up front makes more than 1 mana,
Yeah.
like Azor's whatever the heck this is, and there's a Heartbeat of Spring out, Damping Sphere will overwrite the mana that land makes with colorless, and then Heartbeat of Spring will make an extra colorless.
Gotcha.
Because it sees the mana that was actually made.
Awesome. Heartbeat of Spring is not fooled.
Yes, Heartbeat of Spring. Well, it's totally fooled. It's like, no. Do your thing first. After you're done, I'll make an extra mana.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So it says, you didn't actually tap for red or whatever. You tap for colorless.
It's fooled by the Damping Sphere.
Yeah, it's fooled by the Damping Sphere.
Okay.
But only if the land
Unless
was...
they're on the same side, in which case it's not fooled by the land.
Sort of.
I'll stop trying to ally enchantments and artifacts.
So, yeah. And my comments say that the reverse storm effect on the bottom of this is hilarious. Like,
Reverse Storm.
it is.
I love this card. This card's great. Putting in all my modern sideboards. Get out.
Yep. And its flavor text is a wonderful reference to Null Rod. A Thran relic. It has spent 10,000 years doing absolutely nothing.
Excellent.
Nice.
Oh, here's one of our preview cards coming up next. Dauntless Bodyguard.
Yeah, Dauntless Bodyguard. Dauntless Bodyguard, for those who didn't watch the preview episode, it's a 2/1 for single white. It's sweet. It's an upgraded Svan Alliance. It's a human knight. As Dauntless Bodyguard enters the battlefield, choose another creature you control. Sacrifice Dauntless Bodyguard. The chosen creature gains indestructible until end of turn. If the two things have the same name, it'll tell the difference between them.
Gotcha.
It knows which sapperling it is bodyguarding. And
It is not fooled.
yeah, it does not get fooled. Your opponent can't be fooled either. If you have 5 sapperlings and you bodyguard one of them and you pick up the stack and shuffle them,
which
you're like,
one is it?
You're like, it's a shug. No. Your opponent can ask which one is being bodyguarded and you have to tell them.
Also, if you're bodyguarding your sapperling, I don't know. I feel like this bodyguard's got a pretty bad assignment.
Yeah.
Well, it depends. Did you see at the pre-release? I think it was Cameron dubbed a sapperling Sir Sapperling.
Oh,
dub.
that's so cute.
That would have been worthwhile to bodyguard.
Yeah, absolutely, actually.
Sir Sappy.
So I mean, it's not terrible. Dauntless Bodyguard is a reasonable card all around. Seal Away, white and 1 enchantment. It is flash. When Seal Away enters the battlefield, exile target tapped creature an opponent controls until Seal Away leaves the battlefield. So Seal Away comes out. It is a triggered ability. It targets a creature. They can untap that creature in response. And if they do, Seal Away won't exile it. Seal Away will stay on the battlefield in case they have something like Devotion or something that cares about their enchantments. So they could like blink of the eye it to pick it up and try again later.
Yeah.
But it won't seal away the thing because they untapped it in response to
I'm
the
gonna
triggered
try again later.
ability. Yep.
The triumph of Gerard.
Yeah, Gerard's Triumph. All right. White and 1. This is a Saga. So I'm going to re-go over Sagas. As the Saga enters and after your draw step, add a lore counter. Sacrifice after the third thing. It's 1 and 2. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control with the greatest power. 3. Target creature you control with the greatest power gains flying, first strike, and lifelink until end of turn.
Yes.
When it says the greatest power, tied for greatest power, perfectly acceptable. So if I have 2 different grizzly bears, I can pick one of them and then put a counter on it. If that stops being tied with the trigger on the stack, like say I have two grizzly bears, I try to give it flying, first strike, and lifelink, they can decrease the power of the thing I target, so it's no longer the greatest. Then the ability's countered, and I get nothing.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. Well, not
Ouch.
countered. This is a rules change I didn't talk about, nobody cares about, but it's no longer countered. It's removed from the stack.
Okay, so if I kill whatever you're targeting in response.
Yeah, but no. Like Fungal Infection gives a target creature -1/-1 at instant speed, right?
So it doesn't even have to die.
Right. So you can respond to the trigger, downsize the thing, and then George's
That's
trying.
it.
Yep.
And then Triumph for Gerard is just like, sorry, you're not the biggest kid on the playground anymore. I'm not
Yep.
gonna give you a boost.
Yep.
Wow.
And because Fungal Infection exists in this set, this is important to note. This is a common uncommon interaction that's going to come up in limited a non-zero amount of times.
All right.
Yeah,
Wow.
okay. Great to know.
On to rare stuff.
And
Ever.
so obviously also if you target it and they remove it in response, then you just don't get the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like bummer
Yep.
for you.
Yep. This is much more specialized than that. Even it's just weird.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah. Evra, Halcyon Witness. She's a 4/4 legendary creature avatar for white, and 4. She's lifelink. I'm pretty sure this is a she.
Who knows? It's an avatar.
They.
They, yeah. They are a giant sculpture made out of crystal that towers over trees. Evra has 4 mana, exchange your life total with Evra, Halcyon Witness's power.
Wow.
Okay, so this card also messed us
We
up.
messed up, but
It's a permanent exchange. So if you're at 20 life and you pay 4 mana, they become a 24 with life. This is an instant speed.
Sick.
So you can do this in combat. You can attack with Evra. They say no blocks, and you go tradesies, gain a bunch of life with lifelink.
yeah.
And if Evra ceases to exist in response to that ability, so for instance, you want to exchange life totals to get your life total back, you're like, trade in that 10 life onto Evra, and they go, yeah, let that happen, then try to kill Evra. They can respond to the activated ability, kill Evra, and the exchange won't happen.
Okay.
So what if you exchange your life total, you make her a 10-4, make Evra a 10-4, you have 4, Evra has 10 power, attack, kill it, now you still have 4.
Right. What I'm talking about, like, say that you have 8 mana, you have 10 life, you attack with Evra, you trade, they go, kill Evra now that you've traded, so that you're at 4, and you go, I have 4 more mana.
Right.
Activate Evra again. They go, in response to the second activation,
Kill it.
Kill Evra a second time. Right.
Too bad. Now you
Yeah,
still
now you're stuck.
Okay.
Because Evra isn't there for the exchanges to resolve.
Gotcha.
Wow.
So
That's a beating.
Yep.
But if they didn't have a second kill spell, you could swap it
Yeah,
back.
you could swap it back. Yep. This card does weird and crazy things.
Nice.
It's like the trees from Innistrad.
Oh, yeah.
Except that this is power, which is what everybody always wanted. People are
Yeah.
like, I don't want to exchange with stupid toughness.
No, it's like now you can make it as big as you want, but watch out.
Yep.
Oh, that's nuts.
Haphazard Bombardment. This is a callback to red spells that do nothing with a lot of words. So Haphazard Bombardment's an enchantment for red and 5. When it enters the battlefield, choose 4 non-enchantment permanents that you don't control and put an aim counter on each
right.
of them. So you pick 4 things, you put a counter on each of them.
Yep.
These are different from +1/+1 counters, different from charge counters. There's another card that uses aim counters, but nobody cares. At the beginning of your end step, if 2 or more permanents you don't control have an aim counter on them, destroy one of those permanents at random. So if they have 4 things out there, this trigger is going to go to resolve. You'll pick one at random and then destroy it. If they have only one thing left with an aim counter, Haphazard Bombardment stops doing anything.
Yep.
Multiple bombardments will let you like pick a wider pool of things that they'll slowly randomly destroy, or put doubled aim counters. So if you play a second Haphazard Bombardment and put 4 aim counters in the same things with aim counters, then double aim counters don't do anything.
Gotcha.
The other thing to note is after something gets chosen at random, they can't try to save it. So if they have Dauntless Bodyguard, which makes the thing indestructible, and one of those things has an aim counter, it gets destroyed randomly during Haphazard Bombardment. They have to make it indestructible before they know which random thing gets destroyed.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Because it doesn't target the thing. It says destroy one of those permanents at random. It happens during the resolution of Haphazard Bombardment. So Jota, Archmage Eternal, 4/3 for white, red, blue 1, and is a legendary creature human wizard. Flying, you may pay white, blue, black, red, green, Wooburg, rather than pay the mana cost for spells that you cast. I have no idea why Jota has this ability.
Look, we don't know either.
Jota is an immortal archmage that, like, why doesn't he have something to do with immortality or like making your whatever? Okay, I'm done. But so Jota, Archmage Eternal's ability replaces just the cost that's in the upper right corner of cards. It doesn't let you get kickers for free. It doesn't let you get other additional costs for free.
Because we're going
Like
to cast
X.
Emrakul for cheap. That's why.
Yeah, it's fine. You can just pay Wooburg instead of 15 or 13 or
Yeah.
however much. Depends on what format it's in and whether or not Emrakul is banned on that day. So
So like you couldn't cast an X spell.
you can cast an X spell. The
But
X will be 0. Yeah.
Okay.
It just takes the number up in the upper right-hand corner, fires it, or the symbols up in the upper right-hand corner, fires it, replaces it with Wooburg.
You get out of here.
Note that this doesn't change the converted mana cost of your spell either.
Okay.
So paying Wooburg for Emrakul, it's still a 15 converted mana cost card for
Gotcha.
things that care about countering.
Chalice
converted
of the
mana costs.
Void is not fooled.
Yes, Chalice of the Void is not fooled by Jota.
When you try and pay Wooburg for your serum visions, it's like, no, buddy.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
I found a way around Chalice of the Void.
Lich's Mastery. This is a Richard Garfield design, and I'm very happy with it. Black.
Oh, this
3,
one.
Legendary Enchantment, which is a weird type line, by the way. There are not a lot of legendary enchantments. Lich's Mastery has Hexproof, and it says you can't lose the game. Awesome. Whenever you gain life, draw that many cards. Whenever you lose life, for each 1 life you lost, exile a permanent you control or a card from your hand or graveyard. When Lich's Mastery leaves the battlefield, you lose the game. So eventually, they get to fight through all the cards in your graveyard and your hand and all your permanents in order to kill Lich's Mastery.
Wow.
You still get to draw cards by normal means. You can dredge with Lich's Mastery in order to gain virtual 5 or 4 life. There's lots of things that you can do with this card. You can't die until you run out of things to feed it.
That's not one of the things that you can do.
Yeah. Don't run out of things to feed Lich's Mastery. You have to feed it to itself eventually.
Oh, that's so very Lich,
Yeah.
Feed me to myself.
The Skin Witch.
One of my favorite reprints in this set, Verdant Force. Green, 5, 7/7 elemental. At the beginning of each upkeep, create a 1/1 green sapperling creature token. Your upkeep and their upkeep.
Yeah.
Don't forget, you get a thing right away on their turn.
Nice.
Fabulous.
And Intuitive Giant, it's every upkeep, not every player's upkeep. So you get 1 on their turn and 1 on your turn. Darn.
Gotcha.
You only got a 7/7 that makes free 1/1s.
Crimea River, Small's
Wow.
Violin, etc.
Yep. Karnes, Scion of Ursa. Karnes is a Planeswalker. Cost 4 mana, legendary Planeswalker Karn. Starts with 5 loyalty. +1, reveal the top 2 cards of your library. An opponent chooses one of them, put that card into your hand, and exile the other with a silver counter on it. -1, put a card you own with a silver counter on it from exile into your hand. And -2, create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creature token with this creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control.
Sweet.
The future Karns will see past Karn silver tokens.
That fits with all the time traveling.
Yep.
It
Yes,
does.
that makes sense.
And
Past me sees future me. Future me sees past me.
and then they blow up the Tolarian Academy again.
And then we blow up the Tolarian
Yeah.
Academy.
And the constructs the Karn makes count themselves. So the first one is a 1/1. It doesn't need any friends in order to be a 1/1 construct.
I'm a 1/1 all on my own.
You know what?
Yep.
I don't
Without
need no man.
Awesome.
Cool.
And that's-
Karn is sweet.
Yeah. And that's my stuff for individual card notes.
Nice.
So we can jump to questions here if you two would like.
Yeah, let's do it.
Wow, that was crazy. Wow, it was even the same inflection. I'm creeped out.
You two haven't worked together for a while or anything.
Perfect
No.
copies.
Okay, so the first question that I think is a pretty good question. Is this a good time for new players to start playing?
It's always a good time for new players to start playing.
Fabulous answer.
So I would actually contend that right now is super good. The Planeswalker decks are very, very good intro ramping. Card Kingdom has their wonderful rookie decks that are fairly cheap too.
Yes.
Just to plug Card Kingdom.
$5.
Yeah, they're cheaper than the Planeswalker decks. You don't get a foil Planeswalker though. So there's a lot of good on-ramps to Magic that exist out there. And local game stores have a lot of incentive. We just had what the heck the name was it this last weekend? You got a Llanowar Elves promo for it.
Game day?
No, it wasn't game day. This was something else. It's not. It was like an intro day where you taught people how to play Magic and
Oh, sweet.
and
That's
came in and
cool.
learned how to play
Yeah.
Magic. And so local game stores are great for this kind of stuff.
And by the way, I do think Dominaria is pretty new player friendly.
Yeah.
It is not insanely complicated.
No, Kicker is real straightforward.
Yeah,
And
the cards themselves are generally really straightforward. There's a lot of reminder text in this set. It tells you what they do. I've actually had a lot of discussions with people where they're like, well, not having a reminder text is really unfriendly to new players. Well, this set just has reminder text on a lot of things.
Right,
which is
like
super
historic,
helpful.
we know what
Yep.
that means, etc., etc.
Yep.
sweet.
All right, what is the easiest way to find out whether my spells can hit planeswalkers after the mass errata?
Wait.
Wait, did we already?
I was
answer
also going to
Yeah.
say.
Go ahead.
I was also going to say you can also listen to Magic or watch Magic 101.
Oh, yes, you
Watch
can.
our YouTube series, Magic 101,
It's
which
true.
is all about learning to play right now.
We have 6
It's great.
episodes.
That's
Yes.
right. Go watch it. Okay.
So
For example, Chandra Torch of Defiance can no longer redirect to Planeswalkers.
correct. So like I said, there's a bunch of there's like a list of how they rebuilt old cards. The general rule is, the general rule is previously, if it said target creature or player, it will be able to target creature, player, or planeswalker. Unless if it said target creature or player, it'll get that redirection. If it didn't have a target, like Chandra Torch of Defiance doesn't target, it probably can't hit planeswalkers. That's the simple rule. The very simplest way is to just look on Gather, or Scryfall, or whichever search you want that has up-to-date Oracle texts.
We recommend Scryfall.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
Yes.
Scryfall's really good. They introduced actually the feature that I'd been kind of whining about, which is a text-only output.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah, they
right.
do. Mhm.
They did make
Yep.
a text only
And
output.
so-
just for you.
Pretty much, because I use this a lot. There's a lot of complicated, like, if it figures out something based on the player's, something based on the player, then it doesn't get to redirect it, or doesn't get to target planeswalkers now, and then there's a bunch of cards that you shouldn't think get errata, like Healing Salve. Lightning Bolt is reverting to the alpha wording, and Healing Salve is getting errata.
Look it up.
Yeah, look up cards, prevention effects and damage effects, just in general.
All right.
All right, I'm going to have you look up a card right now. Thrawn Temporal Gateway. This is a new card from Dominaria. We've got a question from Richard here. Can putting historic permanents into play using Thrawn Temporal Gateway be countered? And as they're put into place, do I still get ETB triggers?
So the ability could be countered by like Disallow or Nimble Obstructionist. They won't get to see the card. You'll activate the ability, put it on the stack, and they say, before I even see the thing, I want to counter it with this thing that counters target activated ability. They can't counter that thing. Like they can't use cancel or similar effects or wizards something. The reverse wizard, the counter spell in this set. They can't counter it as a spell. It'll get enters the battlefield triggers. If it's a legendary land, it is putting a land into play. It's not playing a land for turn. For
Gotcha.
things that care about those two different things.
Nice.
Here's another new friend that has a question. If I'm casting Torgar, my favorite named creature in the set, Famine Incarnate,
Yeah.
when do I sacrifice my creatures? Is it before or after I show the card and put it on the stack?
So you show the card, you put it on the stack, then you figure out how much it's going to cost, then you pay costs. The Torgar is put on the stack, you'll choose to pay all the costs for it, and then they get the chance to do whatever. So this is as an additional cost to cast Torgar. They don't get the chance to counter it or do anything related to your creatures or kill your creatures until after you're finished casting it.
Torgar. So like you can sacrifice 2 creatures.
Yep.
And they can't be like, kill one of those creatures. In response, it's like, no, I
Yep.
sacrificed it.
Yeah.
It's done for.
Yep.
But if you're like, I sacrificed 2 creatures and then tap my mana and cast this, they can be like, I counter it.
Yes.
And your creatures are dead.
Ooh, brutal. What's your prediction for how the new historic category will affect eternal constructed formats? Any specific deck types that this might impact, like Affinity?
Well,
I have the similar question, I don't know.
I mean, it depends on random cards and whether or not they're going to do anything relevant. So, like, most of the cards that deal with historic stuff are reasonably expensive. Like, the cheapest one is probably Artificer's Assistant, which says 1/1 flyer for single blue. Whenever you cast a historic spell, scry 1. I don't think that's going to impact anything in old formats. I mean, maybe Board the Weatherlight will do something relevant in modern.
People have been saying that Joyra, the captain of the Weatherlight, she draws you a card when you cast a historic spell. That has the potential to maybe something
Costs
happen.
4?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of expensive.
Like, in Eternal formats,
Wow.
what are you doing for 4
That
mana?
just sounded like the biggest burn of all time.
Costs
Like,
well, no, like,
She costs 4?
Like
you're right.
in EDH, she's great. I love her. She's wonderful. But in modern, like,
By 4, you're already dead.
Yeah,
I killed you on turn 2 with Clark Clan
they just-
Ironworks, sucker.
Yeah, they just unbanned Jace the Mind Sculptor, and that. How many of those were in the top 16 of Hartford? I know there were none in the top 8.
No, I don't know. None in the top.
They're
eight.
none. They're
No
none in the
Blood
top
Braid?
8. No blood braids. Like those are 4-cost spells. So 4-cost spells have to be crazy good in Eternal formats.
Yeah.
Okay, one last question from Twitter here. Was asking, had a question about the Dominaria packs. Is it only one legend per pack, excluding foils?
There will be at least one legend in every pack of Dominaria. How I assume they will do this, though I don't think it has been announced, is they'll have a special slot, like for the double face card slot, that has cards of all that will have a legend of some rarity, either uncommon, rare, or mythic.
Gotcha.
And so they'll just have a dedicated slot that will fire a common and replace it with that.
Get outta here.
Once again, you're
announced a
fired.
specific- I like firing things.
I like firing things.
Ew. Out.
All right, here's a question from Facebook. If I equip Helm of the Host to a Gideon who has become a creature, can I activate?
mention Helm of the
Oh,
Host.
good grief! Can I activate the copy of it as if it was a planeswalker after combat?
So
That's bizarre.
Wow.
So Helm of the Host, I didn't mention this card, and that's my bad. It's a 4-cost artifact, legendary artifact equipment. Equips for 5. So the upfront cost is huge on this. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a token that's a copy of equipped creature, except the token isn't legendary if equipped creature is legendary. That token gains haste. So I would have to cast
You're the
Gideon,
Gideon, make it a creature.
Yeah, make it a creature, equip Helm of the Host, and then at the beginning of combat, it makes a copy. Copies only copy the base characteristics of a thing as modified by other copy effects. So that Gideon copy won't be a creature at all.
It'll be a Gideon Planeswalker.
Yeah, it'll be a Gideon Planeswalker.
Weird.
And it's going to have the same name as the other Gideon, but it won't be legendary. So you'll have 2 Gideon at the trials or whatever. And then post-combat, you will get the chance to activate that bonus Gideon.
Wow.
Chad-
And then
it'll
Helm
go
of the
away.
Host will fall off
Yeah.
because the other
Yes.
Gideon goes back to being a Planeswalker and you can equip
Yes.
it next turn. But you have 2 Gideons, so who cares?
Well, briefly. Oh no!
No,
This
it's
doesn't
not
go away.
exiled.
This is forever.
You'll have
Yeah.
it forever.
Yeah, you just get an unending stream of random Gideons.
Stream
Wow.
of
In this case.
Gideons.
Or
Do you guys want to see my 3rd feature-length film? Stream of Gideons.
This one I'm gonna pass.
does it debut on Twitch?
Yes. It's a follow-up to Gladiator.
Stream of Gideons.
Yeah.
The new 300.
Anyways, that's
Ugh.
sick. All right.
Okay, here we go. How many people are actually going to physically stand up and kick a card to get the mana boost for kick spells?
Well, that is a wonderful question. Probably none.
All right, I'm going to take
Like,
the over on that.
You're gonna take the over.
On none. Yeah.
So you're gonna play the safe stats of like you have an above average number of arms kind of stats.
yeah.
Okay.
Not relevant to the pre-release, but if I cast a Snapcaster Mage and target Wizard's Retort or Wizard's Lightning, do those spells still get the Wiz discount for their
Yes.
flashback cost?
So flashback is casting the
Whiz.
spell from your graveyard, and
The
so
whiz discount. Sorry, keep going.
well, I mean that's if you have a coupon for Cheese Whiz.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
you're right.
there you go.
That's a whiz
Yeah.
discount.
Right. Exactly.
Definitely what I was thinking.
Yes.
And so you are casting it from your graveyard with flashback. It will get discounted for Wizard's Lightning if you Snapcaster a Wizard's Lightning.
Nice. Get that whiz discount.
If you put On Sarah's Wings on a Saproling token and you get a new token with the same name, does the legendary Saproling get destroyed by the legend rule?
No. The legend rule cares if 2 things are both legendary, which we kind of side talked about with Helm of the Host a little bit. But if both the things have the same name and both of them are legendary and you control both of them, then you have to choose one to get rid of.
Gotcha.
If
But-
I equip the Blackblade Reformed to Dakin Blackblade himself, do I get a huge flavor win?
Yes.
Yes, you do.
Well, I mean, he already has one, so you're sending the reforged second copy of it back in time to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
If you cast Dub using Secluded Step, do you win at life? I don't know what Secluded Step is. Like step as in
Yeah.
a formation.
It's the cycling land, right?
Yeah.
Secluded Step.
Yeah, it's the cycling land from Onslaught.
Why does it care?
I don't know.
Oh, dubstep.
Oh,
Got it.
oh, Took me a long time there.
Nice.
I mean, there
Oh,
are
boy.
multiple steps, so they could have said they
Any
could have
of
used
these.
any of these. Yeah,
That's true.
Is Yargle the greatest creature ever printed or the greatest Magic card ever printed? Fabulous question.
Great question.
I mean,
Is Yargle the only 9/3?
yes.
Yargle.
Yargle.
I mean,
Frog spirit.
I love Yargle. I'm gotta be real with you. It's fabulous. Yargle, my Bargle all day.
I'm impressed how they managed to save name equity, power toughness equity, and like legendary
Frog
uncommon
spirit.
equity. Yeah. And like make a legendary frog that people are excited about all in the same card without spending any design space. Because it's like, this is the same card as Massive Wolves, right?
Just a 9/3.
I love Yargle. We had so many Yargle memes going on in chat this
Frog
week.
spirit.
I like had to sit on my metaphorical hands because I wanted to just talk about Yargle the whole time.
Yargle.
Yargle!
Yargle.
Well, everybody, it's time for Cutest card and Grossest card from Dominaria, the time you have all been waiting for with bated breath, no doubt. Megan, what is the
Blink of
crown?
an eye.
Okay, there we go. We knew it was
moving on.
coming. We knew it was coming. It's disgusting and horrifying. And
It's
please,
the worst thing I've ever seen.
is this the
Really?
the grossest card of all time for you?
That's not true. It probably doesn't beat magnifying glass, which is way up
Yeah,
there.
you couldn't even like look at that card.
Magnifying, like just think.
I got shivers just now.
I haven't seen the
Yeah.
art of that card in probably over a year. Why would I?
Yeah.
And yet, still thinking about it, I feel deeply uncomfortable.
And that was once again another eyeball thing for you.
Yeah.
If
Yes.
I asked you to sign a magnifying glass, would you just throw it at me?
I mean, I have signed one before,
Okay.
and I would, but I would, I know what you're doing. I see you.
I have one in an EDH deck.
I know what you're
Oh
doing.
boy.
Okay, so let me start off front with Cutest card saying that this set is very, very cute.
This is very cute.
Well done, Wizards. Arcane Flight is runner-up. This is the kitty cat that gets wings. Fabulously cute. I would think this would get higher marks if the cat was fatter. So just consider that next time, Wizards. Or if the cat was a kitten, as is known. Artificer's Assistant. This 1/1 for 1, which is a tiny little bird that has a key in his little mouth, and he's wearing a little necklace.
Oh, if only the bird were fatter, then it would have won.
Yeah, if this bird were fatter.
Fat bird.
It is. That bird leads a cushy life, obviously.
Is definitely a runner-up. Joyrus Familiar, another burb in this set
Well, yeah,
that many had
Glasses
suggested
Owl.
was going to win. Also,
Man, I had.
you had a lot of
Joyous
money
Familiar.
riding on this.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, as you know, I like to be unconventional. Yargle, of course, very close to winning this, but in the end, Yargle did not make it. Even though I love Yargle more than a lot of things in this life, I love you, Yargle. Sorry, but we were doing the set review, and yes, Homerid Explorer is also a runner-up.
So cute.
Very,
Runner-up.
very
Ugh.
cute. Okay,
What a huge-
I had an emotional reaction when we were talking about this card, and that's what pushed it over the top for me, that it had to be the cutest card. In the set, Saproling Migration.
That's right. Yeah.
Saprolings are going on a trip, everybody. Look at them go.
It's real cute.
They've
It
got
is
so
very
many legs.
cute.
They're like doop to doop to doop. Here we go.
It's true. It's true.
It's like the Incredible Journey, but with fungus.
Yes.
The fungus are going somewhere. We don't know where,
Yeah.
but they're going on a trip. They didn't need to pack their suitcases.
It's like Homeward Bound.
Oh,
Yeah.
that movie traumatized
Incredible
me
Journey. Yeah.
as a child.
Yeah.
Wait, which one's the Incredible Journey?
Homeward Bound, the Incredible Journey. It's
Oh,
like
yeah,
Ravnik,
right.
the City of Guilds.
Oh no, you're right. My bad. Look, thank you for clarifying. Because sometimes I'm thinking of the Homeward Bound Lost in San Francisco.
No,
What?
the
This is
sequel,
the
it's
second
way
one.
worse.
I know, but I still watch it infinite times.
I didn't know
as
there was
child.
a
That's fair.
sequel.
It's like Land Before Time.
Yeah. Land
No.
before time.
You didn't know that there was a sequel to Homeward Bound?
No.
Okay.
I Homeward Bound, I couldn't watch it. I just, it was so horrifying to me as a youth.
3 random lost animals wandering through the wilderness. What's horrifying about that?
The cat falls down a waterfall and the dog
You
gets
know-
stuck in a hole.
You know they're
Yeah,
going to be
that's true.
safe at the end. It's a kids movie.
It's a kids movie.
I can't handle anything bad happening to animals. It just is really,
Okay.
I don't know what my deal is.
That's
Slimefoot,
fair.
sure, you're a runner-up too.
I'm just scrolling through things.
You're just trying to You sport Karnthal, great.
You know, sometimes today when I was driving
Not
back,
squee.
I would whisper to myself, Slinvoda.
Who's Slinvoda?
That's the big underwater, like.
Oh, yeah.
Or what, Leviathan.
Did you know
Slinvoda.
that it bounces whales?
They missed something.
Slinvoda will bounce those whales.
You know what? They're like, we've got all of the sea things. We don't have to worry. Oh, shoot.
Get those whales out of whales. You're fired.
Well, no,
Whales are fired by Slinvoda.
Slinvoda is actually replacing Lorthos the Tidemaker as my mono blue commander.
Oh.
Because Lorthos had all of these sea creatures. That was the theme of the deck. And I was like, all right, this is a better sea creature theme. And I looked at it, I said, oh, this returns Great Whale to my hand so I can make infinite mana. That's awkward.
All right.
But when you cast it, you have to say it like this.
Slinvoda.
And when you cast
The Skin Witch.
you know how you have to say that, obviously.
Hey everyone, we're going to pause your usually scheduled broadcast to bring you our other sponsor, Ultra Pro. That's right, everybody. Ultra Pro. If you want dice, if you want playmats, if you want deck boxes, if you want sleeves, if you want sick, like, what are the relics?
Yeah, relics.
Which can be both little tokens where you can tell them their size and like life total counters. What more do you need out of something like this?
This Tarmogoyf the correct size, 8/9.
Yeah, Ultra Pro.
Ultra
And
Pro.
you can get this stuff at cardkingdom.com/MTAcast. So it all comes together, you know?
That's right.
Ultra Pro, we're so happy that they're sponsors of the show and they make great stuff. They just sent us a gigantic playmat in the mail.
Yes, it's
really
the size
cool.
of a table.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And another fluffy dice.
Yeah, the
Which
fluffy
may be
die.
a fluffy 20-sided die.
Do you
which
need
maybe
this in your life? I sure did.
Do you know what? We'll put it in this month's giveaway.
Okay, here you go. Fluffy dice. The giveaway, of course, the link to it, the Gleam link below the video or in the show notes. So check that out. Well, thank you, Rob. This has been
Welcome.
the most excellent.
It really has been.
It's been the best of times and the best of times, and now
Yes.
we have arrived at your time to tell us your secret tip that I said you're going to teach people.
Oh, yeah. I was listening last week and you were like, yeah, Tarmogoyf, that could be like a 5/6, right? That's as big as it can get. It can be an 8/9. And you can remember the types, the 8 types with the mnemonic special T. SPECIALT.
Not a new drug
Nope, it's
or a
just,
cereal.
Yep,
Give me
it's-
some of that sweet specialty.
Yep, it's sorcery, planeswalker, enchantment, creature, instant, artifact, land, and then off on its own, like it should be, tribal.
Specialty.
Which one of these are we embarrassed about? Tribal.
I love this. It's great.
Nice.
Great little mnemonic memory device.
Specialty.
Yep.
Before we end our episode, how can people reach you if they want to?
They can ship me an email, robbit@gmail, ROBBIT@gmail.com is the best way to get in touch with me. I tend to not do anything on Twitter, and I just email lets me file things and respond to them when I want to. So
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much once again for coming on and making us all smarter.
Smarter.
make you more special.
I obviously need help in that
Job
department.
rudge. Everybody, job rudge.
Job rudge. Rob Judge. Burp. Burp.
Job rudge.
Thank you to everybody who's a patron and support of the show on patreon.com/MTAcast. You keep the show alive. If the show is something you look forward to every week or something that you've incorporated into your magical life, consider please becoming a supporter. It means the world to us and, of course, keeps us doing what we do here. Thanks again to cardkingdom.com/MTAcast, the best place to get your stuff from. We hear it time and time again.
Absolutely.
And I want to say this cool thing that happened in the world of Magic news this past weekend. Not only did we have GP Hartford, we also had GP Sydney in Australia, and we had a history-making moment. The first woman to ever win a GP happened.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yay!
Congratulations.
So congratulations to Jessica, Stefan, the team of Ryan Lewis, Johns, and Lachlan Saunders playing Team Unified Modern in Australia won.
Sweet.
They were playing Hollow One, Humans, and Mono Green Tron. So
Wow.
we're super excited about that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many history-making moments in Magic lately.
Historic, even.
Oh!
Let's just make that in.
I'm wheezing.